Hey everybody, I'm Scott Starcher and I love to cook. Welcome to Make Your Belly Happy Barbecue. Let's get to cooking. Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of Make Your Belly Happy Barbecue. Um, Today I'm going to make a Louisiana Cajun style gumbo, and I'm up here on the mountain. Love this place. If you've ever got a chance to go down and look at Fancy Gap Mountain, this is the most beautiful place. It's not real green outside yet, but it's getting there. My buddies have left me here all alone to do my thing and cook because they had to go to a store and get their groceries. And there's nowhere close here. Everything's about 35 minutes from here, so they headed down Mount Airy to go to the grocery store. But I had an idea while they were gone. Let's go snoop around. Well, I got done snooping around. I don't know. There ain't nothing here. They're more boring than I am. I did find a music room, or I think it's a music room. There's a banjo and a fiddle in there. And I think it said something about Galaxy, Grand Champion, first place ribs. I don't know. It's something crazy like that. All that writing on those instruments probably don't makes them sound terrible. But yeah, that was a pretty cool. Nothing else in here but barbecue trophies and a barbecue room. And I don't know about this guy. I think he's all ate up with barbecue. So am I. We make our bellies happy with a lot of good barbecue. So let's go ahead and look at this gumbo. I like a gumbo that's real spicy. You can have 2 meats, 3 meats. There's sausage and chicken gumbo. I happen to be making 3 meats. So I'm going to have more of a seafood chicken sausage gumbo. Last night I smoked some chicken thighs and I smoked some link sausage, not like posted kielbasa type sausages. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get our meats ready for the smoker. I've got some chicken thighs. I'm going to put some olive oil on it and then put my rub on it. My rub is a mixture of Smoke Masters Premium Barbecue Rub and Jonesy Q's Bird Rub and Butcher's Barbecue's Honey Rub. This adds a little bit of sweetness to it, and I really love this rub. I put it on about everything. So we're going to get the chicken all rubbed up. I'm going to smoke it with some apple and peach wood. Alright, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil. EVOO. Hopefully this will do what I want it to do, and just going to rub that in. On each one of these. Olive oil coated on all sides. Then I'm going to take my rub. It's a combination of these three: Jonesy Q Bird Rub, Smoke Masters Premium Barbecue Rub, and Butcher's Barbecue Honey Rub. So it's just an equal 1 to 1 to 1 ratio of all of those. So I'm going to give it a light dusting on this side. And I'm going to pat that down. Get any spots I missed. Get a good pat. Flip each of these over. Mainly thing I'm going to do on this is I'm just going to put a little bit of char on the outside skin. Chicken I need to cook, but the sausage is pretty much already cooked. It's already a smoked sausage. I'm just going to add some more smoke flavor to it. All right, let me go check on that grill or the smoker and see how well, I'm going to smoke on the Weber kettle tonight and see how it's doing. All right, the chicken's cooking, the sausages are smoking, and if you don't have one of these night headlight lamps while you're cooking outside at night, early in the morning when you're doing smoke competitions, you need to get them. I got mine at Harbor Freight. They're neat. You do all your hands-free cooking with them. And they make you look kind of spooky on the videos. I chopped up my holy trinity of Cajun food. My peppers, my onions, and my celery. All right, let me show you the rest of these ingredients, and we'll get started cooking and making our bellies happy. All right, well, we start gumbo with some flour. Today I'm going to be taking about a cup of flour. I'm going to start my roux, is what it's called, and I'm going to put it in a pan, and I'm going to bake it for about 30-35 minutes. You want it to be, it's like a cinnamony color, like if you had a bowl of cinnamon, that color, like not real dark brown, but not light brown. And when you bake that flour, it just gives it a really, I know it's kind of weird to say, but a nutty flavor almost to it. And so that's going to be our base for our soups. So we're going to do that flour, and then we're going to sweat out our vegetables. How pretty. I made this look pretty. Doesn't that look pretty? I was impressed with myself. We're going to sweat out our vegetables. We're going to add some chicken broth. Another thing I like to add to give it a kind of a seafood flavor is I add this whole bottle of clam juice. I've got some different seasonings I'm going to be trying. I've got some red pepper flakes, some Old Bay. This is Tony, and I'm not sure how you say his name, Chachere. It's like a Cajun spice. I put this one in at the end just to kind of give it that kick if I need it. Sometimes I've already spiced it up enough I don't really need this, but if it's not spicy enough for me, this is where I get a lot of my spice from. So that, we're going to put in a couple cans of the tomatoes. I'll have the recipe down in the comments or the description, so don't worry about trying to memorize it. So we're going to put some tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and then I've got a bag of rice. I don't like gumbo over rice because I can't eat the rice very well. It messes with my stomach. But I got this for Scott and Amy to eat. And I've got some of the smoked sausage I smoked last night. This is the smoked chicken. And I'm telling you what, I hate putting it in the soup because it tastes so good just by itself. It'd make a really good chicken salad. And I got some scrimps. I just de-pooped them and cleaned the shells off. And I'm going to go ahead and cut them in half because they're pretty big size. And I'm going to cut them in half and make them bite size. That way, more shrimp, more people get to enjoy it. All right, so this is all the ingredients. I'm going to get my flour in the oven and bake it. There's all kinds of different ways of making a roux. This is the way I make it. This is the way I do my soups. I make it, it's not really a lot of times you use a roux to thicken, to make your gravy or whatever. I don't make a thick gumbo, but I use it more for that nutty flavor. And so let me get that in the oven, about 30-35 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, the roux is baking. It's kind of a golden brown. I want it a little bit darker. So I'm going to start sweating my vegetables down. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of butter. You can use olive oil, butter, margarine. This is margarine because I don't have any butter. All right, as my butter is melting, it's melting. I'm going to go ahead and drop in my onions, my bell peppers. Normally you use green peppers and gumbo, but I like the sweetness of the red, yellow, orange, the stoplight peppers, but not the stoplight because I don't have green. And some celery. That's 1 each pepper, so it's 3 peppers, 1 large onion, and about 5 or 6 stalks of celery. I mean, it depends on how much you're making, but I'm making a big old pot for me, Scott, Amy, Possum, and anybody else that's getting hungry and smells it of cooking. So So I'm gonna add these in and start sweating them down real good. Oh, you can hear that sizzle. You don't want to brown the vegetables. You just basically want to sweat them and get them starting to soften up. So we're going to do that. Boy, that's a lot. It's going to be a whole big pot. I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so of the fresh garlic. Some of the other seasonings I use have garlic in it, so I'm just going to use about a teaspoon. The other seasonings we put in here when we start mixing it up is going to make it it'll have more garlic and spice. So I'm going to add a bunch of different spices because that Creole seasoning has red peppers and garlic and pepper and salt. But once I do get it done and I'm tasting it, I might add a little more salt. So, or spice, whatever. That's when I'll add my other spices. All right, we got our vegetables going. Like I said, you just want these to kind of, we just want them to start sweating down a little bit, start softening up. Let's check in on this roux. You see the dark, like almost a blonde brown hair. So it's getting there, but it's almost there. We got about another 15-20 minutes. I thought it was going to take about 30 minutes, but it's taken about 40 minutes. So we'll get the rest of this going here in a second. Now let's check our roux. It's almost there. It's a kind of a darkish brown. The reason you do this, if not, we would put the oil or butter in a pan and stir this, and it takes about an hour of stirring with a wooden spoon to get a dark roux like this. So I never had that patience, so my roux never looked just right. So my gumbo didn't look dark enough. But I'm going to put this in for about another 5 minutes or so, and it should start darkening up on me. All right, the vegetables here are almost all sweat down. To it, I'm going to add 2 containers of chicken broth, which is 64 ounces. Kind of stirring. Might have to add some more, or you can always add water too, I guess. A lot of people put water. I like the chicken broth flavor. It gives it more flavor. And then, so I'm going to get that stirring and let that just sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to get my roux out. On the roux, I'm going to take it out of the pan or the little glass dish that's in there, and I'm going to add some more chicken broth to it, like about 2 cups, probably to a cup of flour, and I'm going to get it stirred up so that when I put it in my soup, it doesn't clump. And you don't want clumpy flour. Nobody likes a clumpy flour. So let's get that roux out and get it added to some chicken stock. In the baked roux, or the baked flour, I'm going to add my chicken stock. And I'm going to add a little bit at a time until I get it to a consistency I like. You don't want it thick, but you don't want it too thin either. We're going to add basically about 2 cups. And as it, let me get this stirred up. You can start seeing how it's turning into a nice chocolatey brown color. So we're going to whisk this until it's smooth. See how it turned into a dark brown color? I'm going to add a little more chicken stock. Real pretty color. This will help color the soup, the gumbo, and give it that nutty, earthy flavor. Someone asked me if I was going to put okra in my gumbo, and I said, well, I didn't say no. I said, hell no. I don't like that shit. Oops, sorry, that stuff. Never was a fan of okra. Not a fan of a lot of different vegetables, but okra especially. It's just kind of slimy looking and tasting to me. I tried it one time. That's the last time, the first time, and the last time. So, maybe if the rest of the soup was really good, okra wouldn't be too bad. But it's to me, okra's like beans. I just don't eat them. All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. And we've got a nice chocolatey brown flavor. And I'm going to add this to my soup along with a bottle of clam juice. Clam juice just gives it that extra seafoody taste. All right, I'm gonna add this Bar Harbor all-natural clam juice. Get it in there and stir it up. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. That's about a teaspoon. And I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of this Tony Chachere's more spiced Creole seasoning. I don't want it to be too hot, but I want it to be hot enough. You know, and the paprika and stuff for color. This has got it all in it, so I'm not worried about that. And the roux is going to make it turn a really nice color. All right, so we're ready to add our roux. Get this out of the way. And the roux, like I said, is a nice chocolate color. I'm going to add a little bit at a time and get it all stirred up, mixed up. Oh, that's really changing the color of the soup. Scrape that last little bit in, waste not, want not. All right, I think we're ready to add our meats. Let's look at what it looks like. Nice color to it. Got everything kind of gumming together. All right, one of the things I almost forgot was a couple cans of petite diced tomatoes. I just like that tomato flavor. I don't even know if that's in traditional gumbo, but I like it. So it makes it just that much better. So let's give this a stir. Oh yeah, it's starting to really look good. Nice chocolatey brown sauce. All right, next I'm going to add my smoked chicken. All this stuff's already cooked, so we don't have to worry about cooking it again. Smoked that last night, and then to that I'm adding my smoked sausages. Let that stir up. Like I said, you know, I'll check it here later to see if it needs salt or pepper. I don't want to over season it so that all you're tasting is the seasoning. All right, we're going to let that get up to temperature, and then we still have to add the shrimps. And I'm going to cut up some green onions and add that just for presentation flavor. So let's get them shrimps, get this up to temperature. Got the shrimps ready. All we're doing is waiting for this to get hot. All right, shrimps are done. Vegetables done. Got the rice in the bowl, a little bit of green onions for garnish. So let's give this thing a taste, see if our bellies are happy. A little rice, little peppers, little piece of scrimp there and chicken. That's good gumbo. A little spicy in it, a little hot, not overpowering though. Shrimps are tender. Let's try a little piece of sausage here, little rice, little peppers, a little bit of all that scooped up in there, onion. Try a piece of sausage. That's good. That's real good gumbo. All right. If you want to see more videos, subscribe, like, comment. I'll have the recipe in the description. Gumbo's throw it all in kind of soup, so you got a basic recipe. Put in what you like. If you like okra, put okra in it. You want some corn in there, throw some corn in there. It's just whatever you want to put in it. Always remember, start with your trilogy, your trinity, your holy trinity of peppers, onions, and celery, and make you a nice roux. The way I made that roux is the easiest way to make a roux. I'm baking it. It's the first time I've ever done it that way. Other than that, it's stir at a pan for an hour or so until your roux gets dark. And most of us don't have the patience to do that, so we kind of shortcut it, and we don't have a really dark roux. It's got a real nice earthy color, dark color. It's good gumbo. Make your belly happy.